To what extent can a team break from within when it is at the top? Today I reveal to you the shocking truth behind the internal battle that is shaking McLaren in the run-up to the 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and why this could cost them the championship. What we are experiencing at McLaren this season is unprecedented in the modern era of Formula One. What should have been a glorious end to the campaign, a display of absolute dominance after having developed the most competitive car on the grid, has become an internal nightmare that threatens to collapse the entire project from within. McLaren arrives in Abu Dhabi not only with the lead in the Drivers' Championship, but also as technical and strategic champion of the year. But that no longer seems enough. The tension has been growing race after race, and has now become a real threat of sporting collapse. Lando Norris leads the championship with 408 points. It has been constant, fast, and at times brilliant. He has matured as a driver, and is on the verge of becoming world champion. But his own teammate, Oscar Piastri, has not only proven himself up to the task, but is determined not to be relegated to the role of second driver. Piastri accumulates 392 points and arrives mathematically with real possibilities of the title. He has earned respect on and off the track, and his performances have made it clear that he is not a promise. He is a direct threat to the internal order that McLaren was trying to preserve. The problem is that Formula One does not forgive ambiguities, and McLaren has played not choosing all year. Andrea Stella, the team director, has tried to maintain a policy of total equality between his drivers, a kind of pure meritocracy where both would be free to fight. But that strategy has been breaking down, especially since Piastri began directly challenging the team's tactical authority after the Qatar Grand Prix. In that race, the order from the wall was clear: maintain positions. Oscar came with better pace, but he was asked not to overtake Lando. The frustration was evident, and from that moment on, something broke. The relationship between both pilots, which was never one of friendship, but of professional respect, now hangs by a thread. Moments of extreme coldness have been recorded in the technical briefings. In the paddock, glances between the two are avoided, and the engineers move as if they were walking on glass. Tom Stallard, Piastri's track engineer, has had to handle every technical comment, every suggestion for a change in strategy, with tweezers, knowing that everything can be interpreted as a sign of favoritism or betrayal. Meanwhile, Will Joseph, Norris's trusted man since 2019, tries to keep the Britons' focus on the details of the performance, preventing the emotional drama from taking him out of the title fight. And in the midst of all this, the entire team feels the pressure. They know that they are in an extreme situation. McLaren not only has two drivers at the top, but just behind them is Max Verstappen with 396 points, ready to take advantage of any mistake, any friction, any poorly communicated or poorly executed decision. Any gesture of rebellion or preference can be lethal. Modern Formula One is not just a fight against the stopwatch. It is also an internal psychological war. And today McLaren is a minefield. This is the story that no one wanted to tell. The most successful team of the year, victim of its own success. Two exceptional drivers facing off for the sport's biggest prize with no room to give in. And a technical structure that, in the absence of firm decisions, could be digging its own grave just when everything was ready to celebrate. The media explosion that now shakes McLaren did not come from a formal interview, nor from an official press conference. It was not a phrase thrown into the air by mistake, nor a minor leak. It was a calculated act, a premeditated move. The spark that ignited this internal fire has a first and last name: Mark Webber. Former driver, paddock veteran, and Oscar Piastri's representative. A man who knows the ins and outs of Formula One and who, this time, has decided to use all his experience to protect his driver. Even if that means publicly challenging one of the most powerful teams of the moment. The message was not delivered in a single sentence, but the intention was unmistakable. Oscar will not accept team orders that harm him. And he won't, even if it means throwing away McLaren's championship chances as a team. What began as a hidden tension after Qatar became a declaration of principles. Privately, Webber was clear during an internal meeting: any instructions to let Norris through in Abu Dhabi will be ignored. Spot. This position is no coincidence. It is the reflection of an unclosed wound in Webber's own personal history. A wound with a name, Multi-21. That famous episode in which, during the 2013 Malaysian GP, Sebastian Vettel disobeyed Red Bull's orders and overtook Webber, breaking not only the team's strategy, but also the trust between teammates. Since then, Mark no longer trusted equality discourses. And now, as manager, he has sworn that he will not allow his driver to be a victim of the same political game. But there is something deeper to this strategy. Webber knows that Piastri has a unique window to become world champion. He knows that if he gives in Abu Dhabi, even by 1 point, his image will be marked as that of the driver who was not able to fight for himself. And in Formula 1, narratives weigh as much as results. No one remembers the second they obeyed. Everyone remembers the one who fought until the end. This is a chess move, but also a battle for Oscar's legacy in the category. Since then, the atmosphere at McLaren has become unbreathable. The team management has tried to maintain form, but internally the fracture is already evident. The coaching staff has been divided. Some defend Webber's position, arguing that Oscar has been competitive all year and has the same mathematical right to challenge for the championship. Others believe that, at this point, the team needs absolute unity to prevent the title from slipping through their fingers due to an internal conflict. In the paddock, the news spread like wildfire. What until weeks ago was a poorly kept secret is now a central topic in every interview, in every talk between engineers, in every analysis prior to Abu Dhabi. The phrase that resonates in the air is always the same: is McLaren going to lose the championship for not controlling its drivers? And meanwhile, on the other side of the garage, Lando Norris watches all this with a mixture of disbelief and suppressed tension. The Briton, who has been the visible face of McLaren's renaissance, finds himself trapped in an impossible dilemma. He knows that any mistake on the track can cost him the championship. But he also knows that this time he cannot count on his partner's absolute support. Webber's figure, far from being diluted, has become stronger. His words were not a suggestion. They were an ultimatum. And now the ball is in McLaren's court. Will they order Piastri to give in? Will they try a strategy that favors one of the two without compromising the other? Or will they simply allow the two to face each other on equal terms, even at the risk of losing everything? The truth is that the tension is no longer just internal. It has become a problem of image, management, and tactical survival. McLaren has been pushed to the limit by a statement that, although never uttered with a microphone in front of it, has completely changed the course of the season. Everything that has happened in this Formula 1 season has led us to this point. Abu Dhabi. Yas Marina. The last race of the year. The scene of great outcomes but also of sporting tragedies. And this time there is much more at stake than a world championship. What is in danger is the soul of a team, McLaren's identity as an organization, and the very real possibility that, in their attempt to win it all, they will end up losing it all. The figures are clear. Lando Norris leads the championship with 408 points. Max Verstappen, with his predatory style, is hot on his heels with 396. And Oscar Piastri, the destabilizing factor that no one saw coming in this context, arrives with 392. 13 points separate the three. Any position can define the championship. An abandonment, a touch, a bad pit stop, a bad reading of the weather or traffic on the track. Any tactical decision, no matter how minor it may seem, can rewrite history. The key is in the wall. In that control center where decisions are made in real time, under extreme stress, with limited information and gigantic consequences. Andrea Stella and her team of engineers are facing one of the most difficult nights of their professional careers. If they prioritize Norris, they completely alienate Piastri, possibly compromising not only his on-track performance, but his long-term relationship with the team. If they let both fight freely, they risk contact, a catastrophe. And if they try an intermediate strategy without favoritism, they could end up losing due to simple passivity against a Max Verstappen who does not need permission to attack. Furthermore, Yas Marina is not just any circuit. It is a route that punishes indecision, which requires millimeter precision in tire strategy, especially in transitions between day and night temperatures, which usually has a very narrow window for undercut. That rewards those who act first, not those who hesitate. And McLaren, with two internal fronts in dispute, could take too long to decide. What makes everything more dangerous is the presence of Verstappen, the coldest, most calculating and most effective pilot of the modern era. He doesn't need McLaren to be wrong. He just needs McLaren not to act clearly. Any hesitation will be enough for Max to take control. His team knows it, he knows it, and the entire paddock knows it. Abu Dhabi will not only define a champion, it will define the type of team McLaren wants to be. Winners at any price? Defenders of pure merit? Victims of your indecision? The story is written in a few hours. And when you do, the whole world will be watching. Now that you know the full picture, the inevitable question is, who is right? Should Oscar Piastri obey the team's instructions if it means giving up his only real chance to be world champion? Or is he within his right to fight until the end, even if that jeopardizes McLaren's interests as a team? Leave me in the comments what you think about all this.